The nights in Tehran are no longer filled with the familiar sounds of a bustling metropolis. Instead, they are shattered by the deafening roar of explosions and the high-pitched wail of air raid sirens. For 8 days since the conflict with Israel erupted on June 13, 2025, a pervasive sense of dread has settled over the city like a suffocating shroud. Residents describe a life lived in constant fear, where every shadow could be a threat and every distant boom sends hearts racing. The Israeli military claims to have established air superiority over the capital, a statement that only deepens the terror felt on the ground. This isn't a distant war fought on a faraway front. It has descended upon their homes, their streets and their lives with terrifying intimacy. In Isfahan, a city renowned for its stunning architecture and deep history, the situation is just as grim. Families huddle in their homes, listening to news reports that offer little comfort. Amir Nikki, an Iranian living in the UK, spoke of his family's shock and paralysis. They can't breathe, they can't eat, they can't drink, he shared, his voice heavy with worry. They can't sleep. This sentiment is echoed across the country. A father from Tabriz, his face etched with exhaustion, put it simply, "All the people are scared, every place is dangerous, it's not normal." The fear is not just of the bombs themselves, but of the complete and terrifying breakdown of ordinary life. The infrastructure of daily existence is crumbling under the weight of the conflict. In cities large and small, shops have shuttered their doors, their owners either having fled or too frightened to open. The vibrant bazaars that are the lifeblood of Iranian commerce are now eerily silent. Essential services, from garbage collection to electricity, are becoming sporadic and unreliable. The streets, once choked with traffic, are now often blocked by debris or cordoned off by authorities, creating a maze of dead ends and uncertainty. For millions, the simple act of finding food or medicine has become a daily struggle, a desperate search in a city that is slowly grinding to a halt. This paralysis has created a vacuum where hope once resided. The belief that no city is safe has taken firm root, as military installations are often located near populated areas. The government's official casualty figures, while grim, are widely believed to be much lower than the reality. The human rights activists' news agency, or Hrana, now reports that 657 people have been killed, a staggering number that fuels the growing panic. The psychological toll is immense. Citizens feel trapped, caught between the aerial threat from above and the collapsing society around them, leading many to a single desperate conclusion: they must get out. The decision to leave is a gut-wrenching one, often made in a matter of minutes. Families are faced with the impossible task of packing a lifetime into a few small bags. They grab passports, a little cash, and whatever sentimental items their trembling hands can find. Heirlooms are left behind, photo albums abandoned, and the homes they built are locked for what could be the last time. The air is thick with unspoken goodbyes and the frantic energy of survival. They pile into cars, cramming children and elderly relatives into any available space, knowing that the journey ahead is fraught with peril. The goal is simple: drive north towards the relative safety of the Armenian border. But escape is not so simple. The roads leading out of Tehran and other major cities have become arteries of desperation, clogged with an endless stream of vehicles. The journey from the capital to the Armenian border, which should take around 12 hours, now stretches into an agonizing multi-day ordeal. Fuel is a precious commodity, and gas stations have either run dry or are besieged by chaotic, angry crowds. Families are forced to make difficult choices, rationing their remaining fuel and food, unsure if they will have enough to make it to the border. The traffic jams stretch for miles, a static river of steel and human anxiety under a relentless sun. The danger is not confined to the cities they are fleeing. The open road offers its own set of threats. With international flights cancelled for safety reasons, these land routes are the only viable escape for most. Travelers report a tense and unpredictable atmosphere, with military checkpoints appearing without warning. The fear of being turned back, or worse, is a constant companion on the journey. Every passing vehicle is viewed with suspicion, and the sound of a plane overhead sends a fresh wave of panic through the convoys of fleeing civilians. They are cut off from reliable information, relying on rumors and snippets of news from car radios. For those without a vehicle, the situation is even more dire. Thousands have flocked to bus stations, hoping to find a seat on any transport heading north, but buses are scarce and tickets are sold at exorbitant prices, exploiting the desperation of those trying to escape. Many are left with no choice but to begin the long journey on foot, carrying their children and what few possessions they could manage. The exodus has become a raw and visible testament to the nation's fear, a slow-moving humanitarian crisis unfolding along the highways of northern Iran. The Agarak border crossing into Armenia has become a chaotic and emotional bottleneck, the final hurdle in a grueling journey to safety. A deluge of people has overwhelmed the small checkpoint, transforming it into a sprawling makeshift refugee camp. Buses, cars and taxis form a line that snakes back for miles, while exhausted families who arrived on foot crowd near the gates, their faces masks of fatigue and anxiety. The air is filled with the cries of tired children and the low murmur of conversations in Farsi, English and German. This is the end of the road in Iran, but for many it is the beginning of a profoundly uncertain future. Most of those arriving are women, children and the elderly. Many are dual nationals or hold residency in other countries such as Austria, Australia or Germany, and they carry the passports that they hope will be their salvation. They've travelled for days, sleeping in their cars or on the side of the road with little food or water. Their clothes are rumpled, their eyes are hollow and their bodies ache with exhaustion. They carry what they could, a single suitcase, a backpack or just a plastic bag with a few essentials. They are the fortunate ones who have made it this far. Yet the relief of reaching the border is tempered by the sorrow of what they have left behind. The stories shared at the border are fragments of a national tragedy. One woman, an Iranian-Austrian citizen, spoke of leaving her elderly parents behind in Isfahan, a decision that tears at her conscience. Another man described leaving his business, his life's work, without a second thought after a missile struck a building just a few streets from his home. "We don't know if we'll survive," one refugee was quoted as saying, a sentiment that captures the raw fear driving this mass departure. They speak of homes they may never see again, of family members they could not bring with them, and of a country they no longer recognize. For the Armenian border guards and aid workers, the scene is overwhelming. They work tirelessly to process the arrivals, offering water, food and medical attention to those in need. The sheer volume of people is staggering. India has already evacuated 110 of its citizens through this crossing, and thousands more from dozens of other nations are waiting. Every person who crosses the checkpoint is a story of loss and survival. They have escaped the immediate danger of the airstrikes, but they now face the daunting challenges of life as a refugee, homeless, jobless, and adrift in a foreign land. The growing exodus of people from Iran is more than just a logistical challenge. It is a profound measure of the human cost of this escalating conflict. The images of families fleeing with only what they can carry are a stark indictment of the violence that has shattered their world. This is not a strategic withdrawal or a planned evacuation. It is a desperate flight for survival. The decision to abandon one's home, community and country is perhaps the most difficult a person can make. It signifies a complete loss of faith in the future and a surrender to the overwhelming fear that staying is no longer an option. This crisis is unfolding across Iran's northern frontiers. While Armenia bears the brunt of the refugee flow, Azerbaijan has also become a critical escape route, evacuating over 600 foreign nationals and reviewing requests from more than 1,000 others. Even Turkmenistan has opened its borders for limited transit. This regional ripple effect demonstrates the scale of the panic. The conflict, ostensibly between two state actors, is devastating the lives of ordinary people, forcing them to become collateral damage in a geopolitical struggle. Their plight is a clear and undeniable signal that the fabric of Iranian society is tearing apart. The scars of this departure will last a lifetime. Children who have been ripped from their homes will carry the trauma of this journey with them forever. Professionals, artists and workers who once contributed to their country are now facing a future of dependency and uncertainty. The brain drain and loss of human capital will be a deep and lasting wound for Iran, regardless of the conflict's outcome. These refugees are not just statistics in a news report. They are teachers, engineers, parents and grandparents whose lives have been irrevocably broken. Their stories are a powerful reminder that the true cost of war is always paid by civilians, As the bombs continue to fall and the international community watches, the stream of people fleeing Iran shows no sign of slowing. Each person who crosses the border is a testament to the failure of diplomacy and the terrifying reality of modern warfare. They are seeking not conquest or victory, but the simple, fundamental right to live without fear. Their journey out of Iran is a silent, powerful protest against the violence that has consumed their homeland and a desperate plea for a peace that seems increasingly out of reach. The future for them, and for the country they left behind, remains dangerously uncertain.